You know that feeling, right? It's 5 p.m., you're staring into the fridge, and just nothing. No inspiration for dinner again. Or maybe you just feel swamped by, the effort of making something actually taste good. We've all been there. But what if there was a simple kitchen gadget that could kind of shift everything, make meals taste amazing and be way easier? Okay, let's get into this.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into something that honestly could revolutionize your kitchen. The humble slow cooker. And our way in, it's this really interesting recipe, delicious crock-pot turkey wings recipe, easy and juicy dinner. So our mission today isn't just like reading a recipe out loud. No, we want to pull out the key ideas. How does a slow cooker really boost taste and convenience? How does it open up these possibilities for, well, effortless, super flavorful meals? And we're using these turkey wings as our perfect case study.
Exactly. And what's so fascinating, I think, is how one tool can tackle so many of those, modern mealtime headaches. This recipe, it's like a map. It gives us so much to unpack. We're going to look beyond just the how-to and really dig into the why. Why does it work so well? The science bit, the nutrition, how adaptable it is.
Yeah, that minimal kitchen time promise.
Yeah.
That's a huge draw, definitely. And this recipe, right from the start, it shouts about the benefits. Juicy, tender, full of flavor. Okay, sounds good. But here's the real kicker, especially if you're busy. Prep time, just 15 minutes. And the total cook time, it says 6 to 8 hours, which apparently is like 20% less time than your average slow-cooked meal. That's pretty efficient. What is it about turkey wings, though? Why might they cook faster?
That's a really good point. I mean, slow cooking is slow, right? But that 20% less claim for turkey wings, it likely comes down to their structure. Think about it. Compared to a big roast, they have smaller bones, less dense meat, and quite a bit of that connective tissue. That tissue breaks down relatively quickly with the heat, and the heat itself gets through them more efficiently. So yeah, tender faster than, say, a whole chunk of beef.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got this promise, this potential revolution, but how does this specific recipe, these turkey wings, actually deliver on that? It's not just throwing ingredients in, right? It's how they work together in there.
Sure.
The recipe lists pretty standard stuff. Turkey wings, obviously a big onion, chopped, minced garlic, broth, chicken or veggie, and then seasonings like smoked paprika, thyme, rosemary, salt, pepper, soy sauce.
Yeah.
Stuff most people might have.
Right. And a key insight here is how those everyday things become flavor powerhouses in the slow cooker. That onion and garlic. They're not just background noise. They're the foundation. Aromatics. Over hours, at that low heat, they slowly release all these compounds, infusing right into the meat. Deep flavor. And that long, low cooking, that's what turns the tough collagen in the wings into that silky gelatin. That's your fall-off-the-bone tenderness. You just can't rush that.
That really explains the tenderness bit, the science of it. And the prep steps, they seem simple, but maybe there are little tricks. Rinse and pat dry the wings, chop onion, mince garlic.
Okay.
Then mix olive oil or butter with the spices, paprika, thyme, rosemary, pepper, salt, toss the wings, coat them well. Then layer it all in the pot with the broth and soy sauce. That detail about patting the wings dry, does that really make a difference in a slow cooker? Everything gets so moist anyway.
It does, actually. It might seem small, but it's pretty important. Patting them dry isn't so much about moisture control in the end. It's about helping the seasonings stick better right at the start. Think of it like prepping a canvas.
Yeah.
And, okay, you won't get crispy skin like in an oven, but a drier surface lets those spices and herbs grab on and penetrate more effectively from the get-go. Locks in flavor. Then the gentle heat helps them, bloom over those hours.
Ah, okay. Better seasoning and adhesion. That makes total sense. And then once it's all in, you just turn it on, low for 6 to 8 hours, high for 3 to 4. It really is that set it and forget its idea, delivering something amazing. And then, done. Lift out the wings, serve them warm, maybe drizzle some of those amazing juices over top, garnish with parsley. It sounds incredible. But, for those of us watching what we eat, how adaptable is this? The source actually gives a nutritional breakdown, which is handy. Based on 5 wings, it's around 320 calories, 28 grams protein, 18 fat, 950 milligrams sodium.
Yeah, having that info is great. It empowers you, right?
Yeah.
And the source gives some really good practical tips for healthier swaps that work for lots of slow cooker stuff, like using low-sodium broth and soy sauce. Simple swap. Big impact on salt. Or for lower fat, it's just swapping some oil for unsweetened applesauce. That's clever. Adds moisture, a hint of sweetness, less fat. And just tossing in chopped veggies, carrots, celery, peppers, great for nutrition, adds more flavor too. That works across the board.
Adding veggies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great way to make it almost a one-pot meal. And serving it up. The recipe suggests classic comfort size, mashed potatoes, polenta, nice. Or maybe a crisp salad with a sharp vinaigrette for contrast. That sounds good too. Or even like letting people build their own plates, sauces, sides, Could be fun.
Definitely. But, even with easy recipes, there are little traps to avoid. Common mistakes. The source specifically warns, don't overcrowd the pot. If you jam too much in, the heat doesn't circulate properly. It steams instead of slow roasting. You get rubbery meat, not tender. And making sure there's enough liquid is key, too. Keeps things moist, prevents drying out. Crucial. Oh, and it mentions this is optional. Some people like browning the wings first in a pan for extra flavor. But honestly, the slow cooker does a fantastic job even without that extra step.
That's really valuable advice, especially if you're new to slow cooking. Oh man, I remember the first time I crammed my tooth full. Yeah, it was definitely less fall off the bone and more like weld to the bone. Okay, and finally, leftovers. But you know you want leftovers. The recipe says airtight container, fridge, good for 3 or 4 days, or freeze them, freezer bag, up to 3 months. Just thaw in the fridge, reheat gently, meal prep sorted. Okay, so let's recap this deep dive on the delicious crock-pot turkey wings. It really feels like a blueprint, doesn't it? For cooking smarter. We saw the huge value is that convenience, minimal hands-on time leading to those really rich, tender flavors, that collagen to gelatin magic, and it's so flexible. Swap wings for drumsticks, play with spices like cumin or chili powder, use low-sodium stuff, that applesauce trick. Lots of options. Plus, those practical tips are gold. Don't overcrowd. Watch the liquid. Crucial stuff. And knowing you can store it easily, fridge or freezer, it just makes planning so much easier. It's about making life simpler and tastier.
Exactly. And if you step back and look at the bigger picture, this whole exercise shows that really getting to grips with even just one recipe, one technique, it can genuinely change how you think about cooking day to day. It stops being such a chore, potentially, and becomes, well, almost effortless sometimes. It's about understanding your tools, which, it brings up a pretty interesting question, doesn't it? In our world, where time always feels short, how could really embracing these slow cooking ideas that set it and forget it for hours,
Yeah.
how could that fundamentally change how you feel about cooking at home? Could it unlock more creativity than you thought?
It's definitely something to think about. A really powerful thought. So we absolutely encourage you, give these ideas a whirl. Try to elevate your own dinner game. Experiment a bit. And definitely consider tossing in those chopped carrots, celery, or peppers, like the recipe suggests. Extra boost, extra flavor, happy slow cooking.